Yes, it's only 11:15 in the morning and we already have another highlight of the day. I'm David Henneberger, I'm the director of the Friedrich-Naumann Foundation here in Madrid, and with me is Dr. Charles Powell, the director of the Elkanah Royal Institute. So great to have you. Thank you for being with us here.
Thank you for having me, David. It's brilliant.
What a wonderful publication we have here. Creating Euro-Mediterranean Bonds That Deliver by Haysam Amira Fernandez and Eduard Soler Ilecha. Thank you so much already to both of them and also to our colleague Carmen de Con, who collaborated on that and developed the report together. We did this together. Elkanah Royal Institute, CEDOP, the Barcelona Center for International Affairs, and the Friedrich-Naumann Foundation for Freedom. Was it worth the effort?
It was definitely worth the effort, David. And I'm very proud to have been able to partner with you, the Naumann Foundation, and with our dear friends in Barcelona at CEDOP. This is exactly the kind of joint venture that we like to be involved in, and the product is brilliant, so I'm very, very pleased.
I'm glad to hear that. I think one of the things that I really love about the report is that we brought in new voices. No, we have musicians, we have a blogger, we have entrepreneurs, because we tend to focus as professionals in the political industry, let's say, on institutions, on intergovernmental dialogue. But I think it's really important also to bring in people from civil society, because at the end, those are the elements, the people, the souls that connect both shores of the Mediterranean, right?
Absolutely. You know, as a think tank director, I often stay awake at night, wondering, you know, is this really worth it? Who is actually reading our work? What impact is this work going to have on the people who really matter? And what I like most about this project and this publication in particular is that we're not just talking to the usual experts, political scientists, economists, experts in international relations, sociologists, and so on. We're talking to real people. We've involved real people in this conversation, people who are not in academia, they are not in government, they're free to speak their own minds. And I think as a result of that, this is an innovative and very refreshing exercise.
Yeah, I agree. I also love the idea that we have teamed up as Spanish institutions and as a German institution, because Spain is not a wonderful country to vacation at or to live in, like me in Madrid, but it also has really world-class scientific institutions. I think two of the most prestigious ones are really the Elkanah Royal Institute and CEDOP. And I think if we team up as Spaniards and as Germans to work towards more inclusion, towards more international dialogue. So it's also a little bit the spirit of the EU, no? And what everybody's talking about now, like the Europeanization of foreign policy and so on.
You're absolutely right. And well, as I said earlier, I'm really happy to have partnered with the Naumann Foundation and our colleagues in CEDOP. And it's true, you know, we often talk about European identity and European values and interests. And I think one of the ideas that really shines through in this is that, you know, back in 1995, when the Barcelona Process was launched, we Europeans were still a little bit arrogant and paternalistic. I'm not saying that we aren't a little bit arrogant and paternalistic today, but 25 years ago, the general philosophy was, you know, our southern neighborhood is the problem, and we, the EU, are the solution. And I think we've come to realize, partly as a result of the 2008 recession, partly as a result of the Arab Spring, and most recently as a result of the pandemic, that we are all the problem and we are all part of the solution. You know, and so again, we've moved away from this top-down approach that we used to have 25 years ago. And this text is I think, an expression of this bottom-up philosophy, which I think is much more interesting and fruitful.
I agree. I mean, this is also why we called it a moment to reflect creating Euro-Mediterranean bonds that deliver. A moment to reflect. Firstly, because of the 25th anniversary of the Barcelona Process last November, and secondly, because of the COVID crisis, both the health crisis and the COVID economic crisis. I mean, it's a platitude, but in every crisis also lie chances. And I think the talk about supply chain, value chain diversification, nearshoring, we will watch a session about that later today, is showing some of the opportunities that may come up now in the wake of the crisis.
Absolutely. I mean, you're right. It may be a platitude, but we have to continue to think that there is a silver lining in this cloud, this awful cloud which has done away with so many lives and vulnerable people and has increased inequality, both in societies, within societies and between societies. But nevertheless, there is hope. Another thing I like about the document actually is that it is very critical. You know, we in the EU, both policymakers and think tankers, have a tendency to be a little bit complacent. And this document, I think, is quite self-critical, you know. I'm not, advocating self-flagellation. It's a great sport, but there has to be a limit to that. And there is hope in this as well. I think what the document is basically arguing is that we have to take stock of where we are, look back at what we've done, learn from the lessons that we can learn from, and there are many lessons that we need to learn, be more humble, and I think we have a lot to be humble about, and take a long, hard look at ourselves before we engage with others, and then hopefully the result of that will be a little bit more constructive and positive overall for all of us. It's not just this north-south divide.
Yeah.
We have to move beyond that kind of thinking, and we have to understand that the future of the Mediterranean space is something that concerns us all equally.
Charles Paul, thank you so much for being with us today. 3 institutions, just 2 here on the panel, 2 directors. There's one missing. You're right, you might have noticed this. Paul Morias cannot be with us here today, but he has recorded a video for us that we will show you now, because he has also some words for you at home, at the office, and for us.
Excellent.
Thank you so much. And this is just the beginning of promoting the report, because this is sometimes what happens. No, you publish a report, and then it stays in the in the cupboard. But this is really just the beginning. We will bring this report to countries all around the Mediterranean. We will bring it to Brussels. We will stimulate discussions on the European side of the Mediterranean. So stay tuned and enjoy the report.